Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On December 14th, I conducted an interview with Fidel Castro in his hidden camp in the mountain range Sierra Maestra. All of my questions were presented to him only few minutes before the interview, making sure that all of his answers are authentic. To the content of the answers, you may see for yourself what the political leader had to say.
Thank you for joining me in this interview. So, why do you oppose Batista's government this much?
Well, his government's just full of so much corruption and crime and injustice. He tries to send his messages to the public through violence and fear, as opposed to creating ideologies and things that the people actually want to follow. Therefore, I only oppose it because he doesn't see the value for things like education or healthcare. He just cares about greed and income.
Well, if you dislike his government this much, what will you do to improve the government or make some change? Offer something different to Cuba economically and socially?
The things that we all want to do to change this is, first of all, we need to get Batista out. We need to create a new, better form of government. But we also need to change the wealth disparity. We need to take away a lot of the wealth so everyone has a fair and equal amount. So there's no discrimination of any kind. There's none of the higher class people discriminating and treating the lower class people unfairly due to the wealth. We don't want any of that. But we also want to establish better healthcare and education, because that's the future of our nation. That's what we want to achieve the most. We need people to be educated. We need the country to be healthy.
Well, you're naming so many things to improve and change. However, what did you do so far to create this change here in the mountains?
We've been sending out radio broadcasts around to try and gain a better following, a larger group of people. We've been setting up education facilities and schools out here. We've been training our soldiers to fight against Batista's government, and we've been leading several guerrilla attacks on Batista.
Well, if this all works out, what are your future plans for Cuba?
We want to strip Cuba of its dependence on the United States. We want to make Cuba completely free, economically and politically, from the US. We need to become self-reliable so we can flourish as our own country.
Aren't you afraid these future plans won't work out?
Not really, because when we do fight against Batista, when we do lead more attacks against Batista, I'm not really scared, because I know the people trust us and the people want us to succeed. So if I get shot and die during one of these attacks, and someone else will come up and pick up my rifle and fight and carry on the same ideologies that we want to really push through against Batista and let Cuba succeed in this war. So no, I wouldn't say I'm scared.
Thank you so much for answering all of my questions and agreeing to do this interview.